What's up, everybody? I'm back finally. So there's been a lot going on in the last few weeks, which is why I have not been able to put out a video. I've just been working a lot at my day job. I've told y'all this before, but I am a towboat captain, so sometimes it is pretty demanding. But things should be starting to kind of smooth out now, so I should have a bunch more time to work on this bad boy behind me. There's been a lot of changes happen. I won't talk about all of them in this video. I'm just going to get right to work. I'm eager to get going on this. I've had parts starting to show up. I've had axle parts showing up. I've had suspension parts showing up. I've had transfer case parts showing up. I've had all kinds of stuff start showing up finally. So I'm just going to dive right in. I'm going to get to work. I'm going to figure out where I want to start because I'm not entirely sure yet. But I think since my front diff is still completely tore apart, I'm going to go ahead and just start putting a locker and everything in that and just kind of see where it goes. So let's get to work. Alright, so the kind of locker I decided to go with is just your basic Spartan locker. It's a torque style locker, so when it's either engaged or it's disengaged, it does it all on its own. But when one tire starts to slip, it sends power to both. So I wanted something super easy, and I have had a crazy amount of good luck with these, so I figured I'll go ahead and try it on this one too. I did order this when I was trying to keep this thing under a budget, but I am not now. I am going to back out of the Bleepin' Jeep Beast Wars challenge. I was going to try and go out for the wild card, but my vision for this Liberty is going to far exceed the budget, so I decided to just kind of bow out of it. Hated to, took a lot of thinking and a lot of deciding to do that, but ultimately I want to build this thing a certain way, and I won't be able to do that on a specific budget. So that being said, I'm going to start taking this apart and get these spider gears out and slap that bad boy in there. Alright, I finally found a pin that'll work. Made sure I kind of tapped it out halfway already. So let's clean that up a little. There we go. Put that down there. Tappy tap tap. Pin is out. This little roll pin. Now I gotta get my other piece out. There we go. Sweet. Okay. This on the side. Slide this pin out, put that there. Now all we got to do is slide out, kind of rotate these spider gears, get all these spider gears to fall out on themselves. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, a lot of these times, these have shims on them, so you want to make sure you get your shims out. Alright. I got everything out. I'm going to take this and get it cleaned up. Once I get this thing nice and clean, I'm going to clean all the bearings out, clean all the surface areas and everything out, then we'll just dive into this kit, pop this locker in real quick. I've done several of these lockers before. They're really not too difficult, pretty easy. A lot of times they come with the instructions and stuff, and if you don't know how to do it, keep watching and learn. I've got another video on them Spartan lockers. I think I did a Chrysler 8 1/4, and I think maybe a Dana 30. I don't know, but this one here's a Dana 60, so keep watching if you don't know how to do it. so now that we've got carrier clean, slide it over there out of the way, open up the goodies. All this stuff out of the package. Alright, now one of the first things I always do is I will go and I will grab one of my axle shafts and I will make sure that it's the same spline count, because I have ordered these in the past and they weren't right, so I had to send them back. But this one is good. So, alright, so now that you've got your spider gears and everything out, make sure that these shims come off with your spider gears. They do not get reinstalled. You will not need those. If you try to install it with these in it, you will not have enough room to put your pen through. It'll catch. You won't have enough room. So discard these. You're not going to use them. Okay. Now, that being said, make sure your housing is good and clean. Go ahead and install both of your side gears. I usually found it easier to kind of work with it propped up like that, but however you think it's easier for you. Okay, now, next very important step, you're going to take your push pins here, your guides and your springs, and you're going to install them into your center locking gears. So what you do is you just put them in there, like that. Then you push them down, and you take this guide pin, and you push that down, it just fits right in there, just like so. There's 4 of these, 2 on each gear, and they can be hard to put in sometimes, just because that spring is pretty stiff. But once you get them in, they're pretty solid in there. Alright, all 4's in. Now, these other 2 rings here, okay, it's important the orientation of which these go in. So, you got your gears sitting in there. If you try to stick them, see if you look, it's got the kind of hollowed out end. That goes over the knot, like the little lip here. If you try to install it that way, they won't work. It'll just ride on top of it and you never get your pin in. So they go right there. So as far as the gear, how these go in, so if you set them up to where your pin is going through the center, so your teeth lock in with the teeth. The hollowed outside goes towards the outside of the carrier, so towards the gear, like so. Then you just slide it down in there. Once you get it in, just kind of hold it in place with your finger. And then you'll do the same with the other side. Now, the bad thing about these is they will fall out. So you really gotta pay attention to what you're doing. That way you don't lose something. And they will just slide into place. It is that easy. Once they are inside there, next step is to start pulling your pins out, but be careful doing it so you don't do what I just did. Crud. Well, that is unfortunate. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna fix that. Hold on a second here. I'll show you what I did. Okay, so not gonna pause you or nothing. This gear here slipped as I was pulling it, pulled the pin, and now that's loose. So now I have to compress that back, put the pin in, get my gear rotated, and reinstall it. So that happened. That's all right. Shouldn't be too bad to fix. I just got to pull this back out. Actually, I'll just compress it while it's in there. Put my pin back in. There we go. Too easy. All right. Now I'll pull that one, pull that one. Now I'm going to rotate it so I can pull the other pins out. That one's out. That one's out. And now, I don't know if you can tell it or not, but they're not quite lined up. But it's not that big a deal. All you gotta do is just turn it. And when you hear it lock and click in place, it's in. It's done. So now, you just gotta make sure your center guides are in. Those are in place. What I like to do is a little checky check beforehand. Oh yeah, perfect. Okay, now I'll rotate the locker where my holes line up, and now I'll slide my pin all the way into place. Sometimes they fit kind of snug. Which is a good thing, I guess. Snug is good. Obviously my guides moved on me, so let's get those back into place. There we go. Like so. Now sometimes, most of the time, your guide pin's not going to line up with where the guide pin hole is not going to line up with everything, which actually I think in this case it kind of does, sort of. I'm going to get my phone out for a flashlight. Let me straighten this little work pin up here. Lined up. Now I gotta get that out. At least I know my guide pin's lined up. Now I can take my new roll pin and install it. Well, now that the locker is all the way installed, I was able to get the pin in, I was able to get the roll pin pressed down. Now it fits like a glove. So next step, I got to pull this front axle back out and put this back in it. Got some welding to finish up on it and a few other things. I was finally able to get the carrier and everything back in it. I got everything torqued down, and I'm pretty sure it's within spec. On these Dana 60s, it's 6 to 10 thousandths, and this is right at 10, but that's where it was set from the factory, so I don't think I'm going to mess with it. Right there at 10. So I'm going to call that good. So now what I think I'm going to do is take my caps out, Loctite them, put them back in, torque them down, and then I'm going to check my pinion preload one more time. It's supposed to be around 30 pounds or so, like 25 to 30. So I'm going to check it, and then I should be ready to go to the next step. Everything's torqued and thread sealed or thread locker, whatever. I still gotta remove my links. I've got to take my knuckles back off, clean those up a little bit, finish up some welding, weld my links all the way around, get those painted, get my knuckles painted, and start putting this thing back together. I've got a few more hours I can mess with this tomorrow, so hopefully we get a little bit more done. But for now, I'm gonna go for tonight and go and get some food. I gotta work tomorrow. So see you all in a few minutes. Hey, it's the next day. We're back. So I stayed out here a little bit later last night, and I did get the axle completely tore down. I got my knuckles painted. They're looking spiffy. I got, of course, that's in gears and stuff. I kind of touched up on my axle a little bit. I got my links tore out. So, oh, can't see that yet. Did get a little bit done. I think today my goal is to get all the links cleaned up, welded, and this axle put back together. Get my axle shafts put in it, get the knuckles put back on it, get the bearings put on it, get lockout hubs put in it. Everything but the brakes, because they haven't showed up yet. Thought they were going to come in today, but they got pushed. So it'll be sometime next week, but that's okay. I've got plenty to do. So I do have a little bit of a parts pile going on over here. Got all kinds of parts stacking up. So let's get back to work. Very steamy in here. Well, I got my links all painted up. Those are gonna dry for a very short period of time. Kind of put my knuckles on. Gotta tighten those down. Now I'm gonna start fully assembling this axle as mostly as I can. I don't have my calipers and stuff yet, or my brakes, but be able to get most of it together. I'll at least be able to get the important stuff like the axle shafts and the bearings and the lockouts and all that stuff put on. So getting closer. These Ford axles, I really kind of like them now, because most of them, well, all of them come with a 35 spline inner shaft, and some of them come with a 35 spline outer. This one, unfortunately, is a 30 spline outer, but I still think it's going to be strong enough for what I'm doing. And if it's not, I'll upgrade it to the 35 splines. So it's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. Ain't nothing but a thing. Well, guys, I ran into a little bit of a snag with the Liberty. The lockout hubs I got ended up not being correct. They didn't fit properly, so axle's still out, links are still out, but that's going to give the paint and everything a little bit of time to dry. Unfortunately, I am out of time. I didn't get nearly as much done as I wanted to, but I did get to install some lights on the Gladiator that I've been wanting to put on for a while. Those cowl lights there. So thank you, Super E, for those lights. They are awesome. I will have a separate video on the installation of those lights. That being said, thank you guys for watching this video. I know it's not that exciting right now because I'm still waiting on stuff and I keep coming into finding more problems. This, that, and the other, whatever. Let's talk about some tires real quick. So I've been kind of giving some glimpses of these pit bull rockers right here. My daughter just yelled from the house, so there's a raccoon on the back porch, so I had to go check it out. But anyways, so these pit bull rockers I picked up, they are 16.5s. I am going to recenter these H1 wheels. So that'll be pretty cool. That'll be another separate video. There is a lot to talk about. I don't have time to talk about it right now, but thank you guys for watching this video. I know it's not that exciting right now, but I promise it will pick up. Do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys again for watching. I am eligible for memberships now, so if that's something you guys are interested in doing, I would appreciate it. You don't have to, but they are cheap, and every little bit does help me and my channel grow. So thank you guys in advance if you do it, and stay tuned for the next video. There will be some more adventures with the Gladiator coming out pretty soon, so I'm pretty excited about that. But anyways, I gotta go. Thank you guys. See you later.